Hello, in this video, we're going to show you how the consumer in vRA may choose a service opening at the time of deployment during the deployment process, and also how the same consumer at the later stage may, as a Day2 action, change the service port. So, Lars, can you please kick off a deployment?
So I'm logged into Service Broker, where I will order this service. I'm going to give it a name. I'm deciding what environment I want to deploy it into. I'm choosing that I want to have 2 front-end servers, 1 back-end server. My front-end servers will be in security level 1. I'm defining the ingress policy for this particular VMs. And now I get to choose what services I want to open to my front-end servers. So I'm presented with a list. This list is built using a custom forms in Service Broker. This particular field is backed by an external source. It's a Python script running in Orchestrator, which will grab certain tags from the NSX manager. In this case, tags that are created with the scope service. So these tags could be a particular protocol and port, but it could also be, like in this case, an application, web application maybe with multiple ports and protocols included, or as I'm going to choose now, any. So I want to allow any service to reach my front-end servers. My backend server, I will define them as security level 2. This will mean that they will not accept any ingress traffic other than traffic coming from the front-end servers. So my deployment is running, and while we're waiting for the deployment to complete, Anders, can you show us how the tags work in the NSX side?
Yes, let's go to the GUI of NSX. And if we go to the inventory tab and have a look at the different tags. So what Lars was doing was that he had a vRA action to filter out all the security tags that has a scope of service. This is one example of how you can do it. There are other ways, but in this demo, we are using the tags as they are that has the scope of service. If we go to security and we have a look at the distributed firewall policy rule set, then in this demo, what we have done is that we have used those tags as membership criteria for security groups. And we are using those groups to create allow rules depending on the security tags. That will be the end outcome of this. So if you tag your machine with a certain service tag, that means that you basically are a member of a certain security group and you get this allow rule. The design of this, we are using the negative blocking approach. So the source is any, but that doesn't mean that any can reach this. It means that anyone that hasn't been filtered away by the negative blocking rules previously may now choose to consume an open port. If I go to the environment tag, we can see now that, for instance, under the isolate deployment, we have an isolation blocking rule that says if you are not TP1, and TP1 was the name of the deployment, if you're not TP1 and you go towards TP1, then I will drop you. So that means that the entire deployment is isolated. But what we have done is that we have done an improved ingress. So Lars has tagged the ingress machine with an ingress tag. And that means that we are doing a jump to application action. And this is why we can now consume one of the allow rules at the application tab of the distributed firewall. When we go to the inventory tab and have a look at our virtual machines that has been deployed right now, we can see that the front end VMs have a set of security tags. And as of this moment, we have the service of any. So that was the choice of the consumer in vRA. And if you choose any service, then what happens is that the security policy in application will open up everything, any port, or all of the ports for this particular machine, because this was the will of the consumer in vRA. But hey, Lars, what if we, being the consumer in vRA, would like to do a Day2 action and change the service from whatever it is to something else? How will that look like?
So if I want to change this, I can go back into Service Broker. I'm going to select my deployment and the front-end servers where I want to change the service. I've created a custom Day2 action called Change Service, where I'm presenting again these different services which the consumer may choose from. Again, this list is generated using the tags in NSX Manager. We could create it in other ways as well. It could be a fixed list or produced in some other way or form as well. But in this, I'm using the vRA action to gather the different tags. So let's change this from any, which we choose initially, to HTTP and HTTPS. And I'm going to hit submit. And I will do the same for my second front-end server. Now a workflow is running in the background, which will update the tags for my VMs. We can see now still the tag any is applied, but this will, when the workflow is done, be updated to the set of tags that I've now chosen.
So if you go to the inventory tab, have a look at the virtual machines and the front-end servers set of service tags, we can see that we now have the service tag HTTPS. And I'll scroll down a little bit. Yeah, here we have the HTTP as well. So this means by changing the security tags as a Day2 action in vRA, we have our VMs to no longer belong to the service all security groups, but belonging to the HTTP and HTTPS. And that means that now the HTTP and the HTTPS port, this is what is now open for outside communication, outside and in.